guys!
Hey guys!
We're back with another Game of Thrones review, this time reviewing Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 4, titled Book of the Stranger. If you haven't seen it yet and you want to avoid any spoilers, skip this video and come back later because everything we say from this point forward is going to be a spoiler. Wow, what a great episode.
Oh, so good.
It was so good. Two major developments in this episode.
Yes.
First of all, Jon has decided it's time to take back Winterfell after receiving that letter from Ramsay saying, hey, we have your brother, bring my wife back or I'm going to kill him and I'm going to take the wall and slaughter all the wildlings you brought back, talking all kinds of trash to Jon Snow. And that finally, like Sansa tried her best to talk him into it, but it was that letter that really sold him.
Yeah.
So Ramsay, in his overconfidence, is going to be on the receiving end of the wrath of Jon Snow and his wildlings.
And we were totally wrong about him missing Sansa at the wall. I totally thought they would miss each other, that they would cross. I just kind of thought like maybe he might decide he needed to take back Winterfell since his watches ended and just take the wildlings and go since they weren't really wanted at the wall anyway. And miss Sansa completely, but they didn't, and I'm kind of glad. It's nice to see them actually get together. They just tease it so much with all these near misses. I just assumed that's what was going to happen again.
Yeah, like Bran and Jon just miss each other a couple of times, and it seems like that was like the trend.
Especially with the Starks.
Yeah, like nothing ever really goes completely right for them, so I really didn't expect Jon to be there when Sansa arrived, which we got at the very beginning of the episode, which was great. That was the diving board. That was the jumping off point for this episode, and from there it just got better.
Yeah.
Daenerys had a fair amount of screen time in this episode, which has been seriously lacking so far this season.
It was good screen time. Like, it wasn't, we love Daenerys, but her story this season has been kind of boring. And this wasn't boring. This was good. This was
a great... And her story did not go at all like we thought it would.
And we are so happy it didn't. Yeah. It was so much better than what we thought.
We kind of thought that, it would be right on the verge, like they were going to put her to death or something, and Drogon would show up, she'd hop on his back and ride around. She's a dragon rider. The horse riders defer to dragon riders because they're dragon riders.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we thought it would go. But it makes a better story the way it actually did play out. Because Drogon came to the rescue last season. And to do it again now would be really repetitive.
Yeah, and it kind of makes Daenerys weak, and she's not weak. It, makes her relying on her dragons, and that's the only reason why she's leading is because she has dragons. And it's not. She's very smart. She has ideas. She has plans. And she's learning as she goes. She's a better leader now than she was when she first started leading the remnants of the of Khal Drogo's people. She went in there with a plan, and it was brilliant. I love that she killed all of the Khals in a fire, and then walks out to all of the Khalasar, just being like,
100,000 Dothraki all kneel to her.
Yeah, because she just walked out of a burning building that everybody died except for her. That's pretty amazing, and it was brilliant.
It was so good. I loved that scene.
Yes.
It's probably my favorite scene of the season so far.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You had a prediction about Asha that came very not true.
Yeah, and I actually even thought it was heading that way, and then, no, she died, and that makes me kind of sad, because I like Asha, and I think it could have been really interesting if my theory had been right, but...
Even though Cersei didn't get a ton of screen time in this episode, it was a great episode for Cersei as well.
Yeah, I knew she had a plan. I totally knew she had a plan, and she does have a plan, and it is more than just a trial by combat. I knew that couldn't be all of it, because that's not... really, that's not a guarantee. The faith might not work like that, but no, she's got a plan.
Yeah, and her plan is basically to let the Tyrell's army just go and kill the faithful.
And it seems like it's a great plan, because should things go wrong, she's blameless.
Yeah.
It really was the Tyrells rescuing their daughter, rescuing Marjorie.
And Lancel.
Yeah, and...
Not Lancel.
Loras.
Loras.
Yeah. So, it's a as far as Cersei plans go, it's a pretty damn good plan, because normally her plans aren't so great.
Yeah.
You know, that they seem okay, but like once they have them, you're like, eh.
When Cersei has a plan, more often than not, it blows up in her face.
Yeah.
This time around, though, it seems like she's got it together. This is a solid plan.
Yeah, this does seem like a pretty solid plan. I still wouldn't be surprised if it blew up in her face.
No, yeah.
But it seems like a pretty good plan. It's a really good plan as far as Cersei plans go.
It's the same with Tyrion. He didn't get a ton of screen time in this episode, but his screen time was really, really interesting. And Grey Worm and Missandei are totally not really on board with what he's doing. They're backing him for now.
Yeah.
But I think if anything goes wrong as far as what he's doing, their support is going to completely evaporate.
Yeah. And this is what Riker was saying. He thinks about 10 steps ahead of everybody else. Mm-hmm. And this goes to show it, because he's great at reading people and knowing people, because he went into that without telling anybody what he was going to do. And he knew that Grey Worm and Missandei would back him. He knew that they would back him, even though they hate his plan. They absolutely hate his plan. But they adore Daenerys, they worship Daenerys, and she chose him to lead. So they are going with it for now until she comes back and can tell them to do otherwise. And I think he knew that they would do that.
Yeah, and I think when Daenerys does get back, she may undo some of what Tyrion did.
Yes, but now she's got a bigger army.
Yeah.
So she can undo what he did.
Yeah. Like Tyrion's operating with the current situation. The situation just changed radically.
Yeah.
She now has her Unsullied and 100,000 Dothraki behind her.
Yeah.
Which is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, so she might be able to just negate all of that and be like, no, change my mind. You give up slaves now.
We also spend a very little bit of time at the Iron Islands, and Theon's going to back his sister at the Kingsmoot, and that's kind of all that we got out of that scene. And Littlefinger returned in this episode, and it's been a really long time since we've seen Littlefinger. And, as much as I hate Littlefinger, I really like Littlefinger.
Yeah, like, we love Littlefinger as a character. As a person, he's horrible, he's awful, and he should die. But as a character, he adds a lot to this story, and his stories are always really interesting, and he's devious, and it's kind of fun to try to figure out what he's going to do next. So we absolutely love that he's back right now.
And watching him manipulate Robin.
Yes.
That was really interesting, although I cannot stand Robin.
Oh God,
I hate him so much.
I can't stand him either.
He's probably my least favorite character in the show now that, Joffrey's dead.
Ollie's
dead. I hate Robin more than I hate Ramsay, which is saying a lot.
No, I think I hate Ramsay more. But Robin's a little... Yeah.
Ramsay has no redeeming qualities at all. He's an evil son of a bitch, but his scenes are kind of fun.
Yeah, he's interesting at least.
Robin, I don't enjoy watching him on screen. I find him just irritating. I hate him. The promo for next week's episode looked amazing. Bran's like astral projecting into a group of White Walkers, and they can see him, it seems like. Oh my God.
Which makes sense. It totally makes sense since they're technically dead. I mean, like, I don't know. It would seem like if anybody could see somebody astral projecting, it would be a dead person.
Yeah, they're supernatural beings, so it makes sense that they would see things that a living being wouldn't.
But it's nice to see that maybe his story's actually going to get something, because it's kind of been stagnant and kind of so-so. I mean, it's added some to the plot and things happening, but for the most part, it's just kind of boring.
It's add layers to other plots is really what Bran's story has
been boring. Yeah. Like, it's adding to other stories, but itself is kind of...
Like the scene with Bran at the Tower of Joy, we're like, oh man, Jon's totally a Targaryen. Like, that confirmed it for us, that scene.
Yeah.
So Bran's story is accenting other stories, but Bran himself... I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this.
Something happened with him,
Yeah. And, just next week's episode looks really, really good.
Yes, it looks phenomenal.
Okay, I think that's pretty much it for this review. If you caught something that we missed, we'd love to hear about it. Let us know down in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this review, and we really hope you did, tell us by dropping a like on it and subscribe for more reviews.
And thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.